All right, everybody. Hey, it is it's comedy night. It is comedy night. Fun is not canceled. We are here we're here in California. I know we got folks here from up north in Portland. I know we got some folks from Colorado. We even got some folks that are staying up late tonight, all the way on the East Coast in Pennsylvania. And we got everybody all over Southern California. We are super excited to see you guys because fun is not canceled. For a lot of you, it's date night. And us too, Letitia's got the whole setup all good to go here. She got candy, she got popcorn, she got everything. So, hey, you guys buckle up. We're going to have a great time. I can see some of the comedians right now. We got a great lineup. Starting with a dear friend of ours. I'm going to introduce him, bring him up. Our good friend, great comedian, also does a great job of hosting these events for us. I'm going to bring up our dear friend here, Jason Love.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. And how about a big shout out to Al and Tish for doing this. Love you guys. Love everything you do.
There, Jace.
Shout out to Marriage Well. Yeah, I'm here in my comedy club here in my office. So I've got it on the Brady Bunch view where I see, like the Brady Bunch on steroids. Is that what you're looking at? Okay. Yeah, I do these mainly to see how other people live. I can look right into, like Al and Tish have like Death Star. You should see their setup. It's fantastic. I saw Dr. Phil doing his show out of his kitchen, and it was bigger than my last apartment. That guy has got bank. And the funny thing about Dr. Phil, his voice doesn't go with wealth and success, Dr. Phil's voice goes with, the UFO hovered right around here. I was thinking, if you want to communicate, how's that working for you? It's weird meeting people right now in public. We're all trying to respect the virus, but it's just so weird, man. We're 6 feet away and we're wearing a mask. We're bowing awkwardly. It's like China has turned us into China. Everybody looks like either a surgeon or a bank robber. You got to be careful with the bandanas, though. You wear the wrong color, you get shanked by a Democrat or Republican. You don't know. I was going down the grade the other day from Thousand Oaks to Camarillo, and true story, we started hitting these bugs, and I couldn't tell. It felt like grasshoppers or something. I still don't know what it was. I had to clean my car when I got home. And then it started to dawn on me. We had the fires, we had the floods, and now the pandemic. Locusts? Locusts? Is this it? Yeah. Then I went to In-N-Out, and there were 3 people in line, and I'm like, oh, this is definitely the end.
Exactly.
Yeah. We got to be creative, making money right now. That's why we're doing this Zoom show and getting better. I think in 6 months, we're all going to be avatars. Yeah, the kids across the street, they used to sell lemonade. Now they're doing Corona test kits. Evolving with the time. They have a hopscotch. They've been drawing on the streets. It's like Hello Kitty joined a gang in my neighborhood. And they have a hopscotch that goes around the corner and into the distance. Like it's long distance hopscotching. You know what I think it is? It's going to be like the biathlon where they hop for a mile and then they get on their belly with a slingshot and they hit those little plastic green slow down for kids things. I read that a tiger in Florida has the coronavirus. So that happened. I didn't know that was possible. You know who I blame? The Tiger King. Yeah. Joe Exotic. He's tested positive for a few things. You guys watching the Tiger King? Here's the thing. They were spending $600,000 a year to feed these tigers, and you can't fix this poor guy's teeth? I mean, come on. He's got like the 7-10 split. I wanted to send money like a Kickstarter, tooth starter. I'm feeling a little cooped up. It feels good to be talking to you all right
Jason
now.
Love?
Yeah, it feels like my house is like Vegas. There are no clocks. Nobody knows what time it is. There's an all-you-can-eat buffet right in the other room. I'm losing money by the minute, just like Vegas.
Just like
I found myself wearing a robe the other day, Al. I don't know, man. You got to be careful with these like waistbands, like sweatpants and robes. You need a belt when you eat because that's your checks and balances. You know, when this is over, I'm gonna have to flatten a whole different curve. I feel bad for Howard Hughes because we all made fun of him for being whacked out about germs, and now here we are. We are all Howard Hughes right now. I'm like this close to peeing into a mason jar. I'm telling you. I'm trying to stay fit and keep my immunity up. I actually built my own dumbbells out of sandbags and a broomstick. Yeah, I've gone full Shawshank Redemption.
Nice.
I'm gonna start making my own hooch in the toilet. Have a tattoo that just says "Hug Life." Yeah, and here's a question, since I'm eating around the clock, does the remote control go inside the dinner knife or outside the soup spoon? Inside the iPhone. I thought that I was prepared because I work on Carnival and it's similar. Like you work on Carnival, you get this little room and you can't even touch both walls at the same time. No washing machine circle to look out of. It's like you do 3 shows upstairs and then you go down to your kennel. After a few days, they open the door. You don't even want to come out. I feel safe here. No toiletries, Al. You work on Carnival. You don't get shampoo and soap. You're just on your own. But upstairs, you're a big deal when it comes showtime. You've seen them on HBO or stealing soap from your cleaning cart. All right. Well, you have an embarrassment of riches tonight, and it's my pleasure to serve as the host and to work with Al and Tish, 2 of my favorite people who just make me feel better about everything. So I'm going to bring up your next comic who has got another show to get to. So we want to get him up here. He has been on Conan. He's been on, he has his own Netflix special. How about a warm welcome for my friend, Dwayne Perkins.
Hey guys, how's it going? You can fine, right? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wanted to make sure. Well, first of all, shout out to this track jacket for helping me hide the quarantine 15. You know what I mean? That's a thing. Of course, I've been abiding by the rules. So social distancing, been wearing my mask, of course. And by the way, so I'm wearing my mask, and I guess I'm smelling my own breath. And to all my friends, I want to say I'm sorry. I really didn't know what you had to put up with, and now I take care of that. I promise. You know, I think that it's like we can't lose our way. We got to believe in America at the end of the day. Like, I think we'll get over this, and I think the American dream is still alive and well. I believe in that. No matter where you start in this country, you can make something out of yourself. I believe that. I feel we have about 5 years left of the American dream, if we're counting. We keep a score at home. I feel like I'm the American dream. Like, look at me, from Brooklyn, New York, and now I live in Tarzana. You know, if you have a dream and you believe in that dream, you too can live just west of Encino. But you have to have belief. Very true story. True story. Only in America, right? My cousin Calvin from Brooklyn spent 7 years in prison, and that's not the dream part of the story. But while in prison, took classes. He got his college degree in jail. Graduated top of his jail class. We're so proud of him. he made the warden's list. He was a great student. My cousin got out of jail with his degree, and in 2 weeks, he got a job at a bank. No, I'm teasing you. He didn't get a job at a bank. He did a bank job. Is what he wanted to go back, get his master's degree, continue his studies. It was unfortunate. When he went back in, they sent him to a different jail, and his credits didn't transfer. He had to start all over.
Oh,
He went to community. Got to go to the right jail.
poor guy.
It's I feel like this whole quarantine, this whole thing is just really a time to reflect, right? Like, where are you? Where you going? I've been reflecting because I don't have any children. And I waited on purpose too. I waited because I was trying to fix it. Yeah, because see, my mom had me so young, I was trying to fix it to make her a grandmother at the right age. Yeah, I was trying to clean up the timeline a little bit. Is what my goal. Because my mom is only 15 years older than me. And that's a little snug. We can stay. Snuggy, The good thing though, she could never play the back in my day card because I was, I used to help her with her homework. You got to carry the one. How many times I got to tell you this? I still remember the day my grandma sat me and my mother down on the sofa and told us there was no Santa Claus. And we cried. That was a tough day for everybody involved. My biggest fear is that when she gets older, I can't take care of her anymore and have to take her to a nursing home, So we're on our way to the nursing home. She's 90 and I'm 75. And we get there and they make me stay. Well, by the time we get home, we're trying to come right back. Might as well just stay. I tell you, I'm also a big sports fan, and obviously there's just no sports, right? It's just crazy. But when you're a sports fan, you just watch what you can. So it got so bad. It's gotten so bad that I actually watched a rerun of a marathon. Like,
No.
Yeah, I watched people running, and I also already knew who won, But it did give me an idea, though. Watching this marathon gave me an idea, and I think it's time to be honest about marathons. Can we just be honest now? When it comes to marathons, we need 2 winners. Let's just admit it. We need 2 winners. Okay, the Kenyan who actually wins, and then the first non-Kenyan or first non-African after that. Like say you run a marathon. Say you run a marathon and you're like a black guy from America or Canada, white guy, Latino, Asian, whatever, right? You run a marathon and you come in 7th place. Right? But the 6 people before you were all African. Then you won the marathon. You know what I mean? Like you beat all the non-Africans. That's got to be worth something, I think. I mean, you wouldn't count someone who's on a bike. It's like they're on a bike. That's how fast. The guy who won didn't even know he was in the race. He was like, "Oh, I'm just going to see my cousin. I won? Oh, great. I'll take the prize." The guy who won, he finished a marathon in just under 2 hours. Now, this quarantine has got things a little different. It's like we're in a bizarre world, but normally in LA, like on a Friday, you start in Santa Monica and try to get to Woodland Hills. And Ubuntu will beat you there. I promise you. He'll get there. He'll get there before you. Now, I hope we lift this ban. I hope the ban gets lifted. I kind of tentatively have some travel coming up in the fall. So we'll see. Before all of this happened, I went all around the place. I was very fortunate. Last 2 years, I went everywhere. I went to China, Israel, Scotland, Africa, and it was good going to the motherland, because I'd never been to Scotland. So, just to connect with my people. I tell you, I was talking about a marathon. At least marathons are safe because recently I went to New Zealand, and I went to New Zealand because I wanted to double the Black population. That was my goal. Mission accomplished. But I got tricked when I was in New Zealand. I got tricked into whitewater rafting. Yeah, and so we go there to whitewater raft. They tell us, they say, "Don't worry, it's for beginners." Okay, makes sense. We get in the raft. There is a 22-foot drop. It's the longest It's the biggest drop in the world, commercial drop in the world. And I'm like, how is that for beginners? I just don't get it. Like, that would be like if you went to a boxing gym, you know, and you're like, hey guys, I never boxed before. I just want to learn. Is this how you punch? I don't know. Can you show me? And they were like, okay, well, let's pop in the ring with Mike Tyson. He'll show you a few things. He's really upset today for some reason. And you look just like the guy that stole his girlfriend. Anyway, hop in there with Mike Tyson. 22-foot drop. I promise you, they show us the pictures, okay? In the pictures they took of us, you see us at the top of the cliff. You see us go down, and then you don't see us. We're in the water. And the thing you got to realize, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, right? And I'm from Brooklyn, like crack era projects, Brooklyn, not the new Brooklyn, not vegan cupcake Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, right? And you don't want to survive that. You don't want to survive just seeing all the things I've seen, shootings and all of that, drugs and all of that, just to die in New Zealand. Like, that's not a good look. Like, you didn't make it that way to die in New Zealand. That would be like if you were a decorated war hero. You know, you spent 2 tours at war, and you come home and you choke on a Skittle. Like, are you even still a hero at that point? You know what I mean? But I'll tell you this, one thing I will say is I blame myself because I wasn't paying attention. My New York, my spidey senses didn't kick in because they told me I wasn't paying attention. They told me as soon as I walked in, it said it right there, right on the door. It said it. It said what it was. It's white water rafting. So I should have known better. And you can break down the whole title, right? White. I'm not white. Water. That's not our jam. You know that's not our jam. Like, you ever go to a black pool party? That's just a pool. That's all that is. Nobody's in the pool. And then rafting. Last time my brother was in a raft was in Huckleberry Finn. And I don't appreciate the language. Now, the other thing that's crazy about this whole thing is, of course, everyone's online a little bit more. Everyone's like hyper online, which is cool. And I appreciate everyone trying to sort of motivate other people, entertain other people, you know. One thing I will say, though, something about women, when women get online, when they get in front of a keyboard and when they're on their phone, women, you become so motivational, so inspirational. I don't know what it is. Like, every woman, you think you're going to post something on your page, right? And someone's going to come to your page, read your quote, and turn their whole lives around. Like, someone's going to come to your page and be like, she's right. I'm going to stop smoking. She's absolutely right. I can't, you know, like, and I don't mind the quotes. I'm okay with the quotes. I don't mind quotes. I don't mind pictures of what you ate. That's very important. There's actually one quote that I don't like. We've all seen it. It goes like this. We've all seen it. It goes like this. If you can't accept me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Now, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard, because clearly we need more information, right? Like, how often are you at your worst? I guess is what I would like to know. Like, can we get some data? Because if you're at your worst 29 days out of the month, you can keep the 1 day. I'm good. I don't need 1 day. And why are you bragging about worst? Like, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. You never get my worst. My worst, I'm in jail. Like, that's my worst. Whatever, everyone listening, whatever you do for a living, whatever your thing is, you can't even be bad. Forget worst. You know, before this whole thing, when I was flying places, you don't want to get on the airplane and that pilot, he can't give you his worst. He can't come over to PA and be like, ladies and gentlemen, if you can't accept me crashing this plane, you deserve to see me land this plane. You'd be like, I think I need to get off this plane. Is that okay? I don't trust this guy at all. Lastly, I will say, I know one thing about the quarantine is it's really, I guess it's like strengthening relationships, or it's testing relationships. It's really, because now it's just, other than Netflix and Hulu, there's no distractions. It's you and this person in the room. That's tough, right? And I ask people, how do you make it work? How do you make it work? I ask people that have been together a long time, how does it work? And I get different things, communication, drinking. Some people say drinking helps. I think the key is, see, like I'm seeing the people I'm seeing here, Pam and Al, the body language is so wonderful. And I think that's the thing. I think if you pick the right person, then it's not so much work. Now, obviously that's easier said than done. How do you know if you have the right person? That's the thing. For women, I don't know the answer. But for men, is one small test. Here's how you know you got the right person, and you're being tested right now. Please believe me. Here's how you know you got the right one. Say you're dating a girl for a while. Eventually, you have to be able to look at her and say, you know what? I love this girl so much that I'm prepared to come home from work every day, sit down in front of her, and listen to her story. Now, I know it's not going to have a beginning or an end. I realize that. She's going to introduce new characters along the way. But I'm going to listen with love and empathy. I'm going to offer no solutions. Even if there is a clear solution, I will not offer that. Sorry, ladies, we love you, but you know, your stories are not.
Preach it, brother.
Yeah, ladies, you glow stick it with your stories, you know. But it's because you're smarter than us too. That's the thing. You're smarter than us. So when you're talking to a guy, slow it down. Understand what we have up here. This is just basic check. That's what we got. Just checkers. King me. That's right. But ladies, your brains, chess. Yeah. Except every piece on a chessboard is also playing a game of chess. You see, there's levels to it. And I think that's why you see, like, you never see 4 women hijack a plane. You know, I think it's because it would take too long, to be quite honest. But, and another thing, I'm sorry, but why are you hijacking this plane again? I'm getting to it, okay? Okay, it's just that we've landed, is the thing. So, hey, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Happy quarantine. Stay safe.
Good job, Dwayne.
My Dwayne fix.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Nicely done, man.
Thank
Nicely
you,
done.
Love
I can't go to that show, but thank you so much.
All right, man.
Thanks, Dwayne.
Thanks.
Fantastic. Well, this is fun. This is more fun than the other Zoom shows I've done. You guys are always more fun when we do comedy. So we have a special guest tonight. This is somebody that I worked with on a cruise ship. I really liked him personally and super funny guy. He has been on Comedy Central. He's on Sirius XM. He just filmed his Dry Bar comedy special. He's here for us tonight. How about a warm welcome for Tom Foss?
Wow.
You got to unmute him, Al.
There we go. There we go.
Started yet?
There we go, Big Tom.
Woo, there we go.
Oh, there I am. Start over. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Another big hand for Jason and Dwayne. Very funny stuff. Very funny stuff. Welcome to the My Kitchen Comedy Club. I hope you guys are enjoying your evening. It's been a long quarantine up until a couple weeks ago. If I saw someone wearing a mask, I thought they were just still honoring the passing of Michael Jackson. But now I'm one of those people. I'm happy to be here with you guys. I'm originally from West Virginia, so you know I didn't set this iPad up. We got our problems where I'm from, like our crime. They won't break into your house where I'm from, but they'll hook it up to a hitch. You could be driving home past your house. Hey, there's our stuff. Dog's trying to keep up. I got biscuits in there. I moved to New York for a career in film and television. So far, I have a 60-inch flat screen and Netflix. People from New York think I have an accent. They're like, where are you from? I go, West Virginia. Yeah, I couldn't live there. I go, why not? You should check it out. The women are very beautiful. Swear to God. Guy looks at me and goes, yeah, I don't know if I could be with no chick that sounds stupid. What you saying, Einstein? Oh, yes. Good to be out. Just had coming up in a couple weeks is my birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right.
I'll be 59 years old, and my body's starting to play tricks on me. Like every now and then, a hair inside my nose or ear will go for no reason. No wind, no little bug. I'll just be standing there. What was that? Walk around, hit myself all the time. This is what I have to do now that I'm 58. I have to stand up 5 seconds before I need to start walking. He's like, whoa, I'm all right, I'm all right. And then you go on. You ever do this? You ever lose something that's in your hand? You're like, man, I haven't seen my phone in a while. I should have somebody call and see it. You ever wake up injured? Like, what is wrong with my wrist? Oh yeah, I made a bowl of ice cream yesterday. I don't have to make ice cream. Here's something I do a lot now. I will come out of a store, no idea where I parked my car. Ever lose your own car? Nothing says loser more than walking around the mall, parking lot, hitting the panic button. You're like, ding, ding, ding. One time, I spent a half an hour at the airport parking lot looking for my car before I realized someone had dropped me off at the airport. Try to get in a car, looks like yours. Think you've unlocked the door, rip your fingernails off because the door's still locked? And the guy in the car is like, you're an idiot.
That's happened to me before.
Car's running. Here's something else I do. You ever do this? You ever get halfway through a story and then realize you have no idea why you were telling that story? That's why I think that I'll be right back. I'm just halfway through a sentence. You can't come up with a common word you've used 100 times before. Hey, you see that guy down the street was digging in your yard and he found a head bone. You mean skull? Yeah, I've heard it called that before too. Sure. I have to wear reading glasses now, the worst. Sometimes I forget my reading glasses. Worst case scenario, restaurant, low lighting, small words on the menu. I forget my reading glasses. I have to order what I think they have. I go to steakhouse. You better believe it. Give me a steak. Mexican, you know I love them. A couple of tacos. Olive Garden, gotta have it. That's right, buddy.
Olives.
Plate olives. Not sure what you had. And I used to be able to eat anything, anytime, anywhere. Now, if I had a cheeseburger past 9 o'clock, it sounds like my stomach is re-killing the meat. It's like, it's embarrassing sitting around your friends and your stomach's going, is that your stomach? No, it's my ringtone. Gotta call, gotta go. A doctor thinks I need to lose weight. So I keep telling him, I'm trying, but I can't lose any weight. He goes, I have a simple formula for you here today, Tom. You take that round plate and you cover half of that plate with lettuce and vegetables. Quarter of that plate starches, breads and potatoes. Last quarter of that plate meat. Well, today I was able to get 3 chili dogs to stand up on that quarter of the plate.
Well done, Tom.
Got done eating them. I really wasn't hungry anymore. My doctor put me on the Whole Foods diet. That worked out great. First day I had a whole pizza. Whole chicken. My memory's starting to fail me. A couple weeks ago, me and my wife went to Barnes and Nobles. We walk in the store. She branches off to buy books. I go to the coffee shop, read the paper. Get done with my coffee. I get in the car and start heading home. I get halfway home, realize she's still there, turn around and go back to get her. Luckily for me, her memory's worse than mine. I get back to the store. She stands in the middle of the parking lot, gets in the car and goes, "Thank God you're here. I can't find the car." And I have all these passwords I'm supposed to remember, right? Like I have like over 100 passwords, all these different airline accounts. I changed all my passwords to "I forgot." Sometimes I forgot one.
You're too tough, Michael.
And I don't know if this is my memory or what, but I do this all the time. See if you do this. I will go in the store, like all I need is Q-tips. I'm on my way to work, forgot to get Q-tips. I'll go in the store to get Q-tips. I'll come out with a whole bag full of stuff and no Q-tips. So this week I'm cleaning my ears with chocolate bars. It's terrible. Getting all those rough. You ever just put something somewhere so you won't lose it? And then you forget where you put it? So you gotta go looking for it. And while you're looking for it, you find other things you would put places so you wouldn't forget where they are. Now you gotta find new places to put these things. So the next time you need them, they're there. When you finally find what you were looking for, you don't need it anymore. Hopefully it wasn't the bathroom. Terrible getting older. I can't watch the medical shows anymore, like the doctors, or just a simple commercial medicine in it. Because if I listen too closely, I think I have the problem. The symptoms are so vague, aren't they? They're like, do you have achiness? I got that. Do you have trouble sleeping at night? I got that too. Find yourself lost at the mall looking for your car lot these days? I had that really bad. I have mad cow disease. Going down. Terrible getting older. I have a mustache. People that have a mustache, you're a tough guy. I'm a sissy. I cried during American Idol. I'm like, Timmy's going home. I can't believe it. Bikers come at me all the time. You ride? I'm like, ride what? They're like hogs. I go, no, my feet drag on the ground. Got me a horse. I'm a big boy now. Terrible. Travel around and do fun things. I've been to Las Vegas. Next time you go to Las Vegas, do what I do every time I go to Las Vegas. Billboards everywhere. 1-800-GAMBLER. Do you have a gambling problem? I call them every time. I'm like, yeah, you think I could borrow $100? I'm in a pickle. I've been to Arizona. My parents lived there, spent a week with them, found this out. The best time I ever had in my life. Every night as a kid, in front of the TV with my mom and my dad. Watching my dad try to stay awake past 9 o'clock. He's like, oh. Oh. Every night, 8 o'clock in the recliner, eyeballs icing up. Oh. 8:15, minor head bobs, 2 to 3 inches. 8:30, Ray Charles. 8:45, out like a light. 9 o'clock, we're in the kitchen with a can of Ready Whip. We used to do that. You could do anything while dad was sleeping, right? Paint the dog blue, tie up mom, have a beer, anything. Except for change that channel. What are you doing? Can't you see I'm watching the show? My grandfather was my idol. Grandpas are great, right? Because they could do things us kids would only dream of doing. Like tell my dad to sit down and shut up. Big fun there. I just got married. How about that? My wife is the most beautiful woman in the world. And I say that because she is sitting right over there. She's beautiful and doesn't know it. Always on a diet. Been on a diet 2 years. I'm thinking mathematically, she should be gone by now. We'll get dressed to go somewhere. She's like, honey, do I look fat in this? You're just saying that to make me feel good. What's a guy supposed to say? Well, sure, you look a little. I didn't know you could pick up the TV. You would never see a guy come down, honey, I look fat in this, because she will go, heck yeah. You look fat naked. You plus clothes equals more. Might want to take that white sweatshirt off, or a snowplow will push you in the corner of a parking lot. Yeah, so we do well, you know, argue over things that don't exist. I'm driving down the road in Canada. I pass a big lake. I'm like, honey, let's go for a walk on the beach. She goes, oh, shoot, I didn't bring any shoes to walk in. I'm like, what? All my shoes are walkable. Would you buy shoes you could walk in? And who sells them? Hey, sit down, and you can't walk in them. Those are walking shoes. Crazy. All right, you guys were a lot of fun. I got to go. Enjoy the rest of your comedians. Have a great time, and come and see us when we get back to work. Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So big hand for Jason and Dwayne and all your comics. And thanks again. Have a great evening.
Thank you,
All
Tom.
right. Thank you, Tom Foss. Super funny. Loving it. Okay. It is my pleasure to keep this comedy cavalcade going. And a shout out for those of you who have just joined in. This is the Marriage Well Clean Comedy Night, and we appreciate you all joining us. We have so much fun at all the churches that Al and Tish work with. And this is the best we can do right now, but it's been a lot of fun, a lot more fun than we thought it would be. And
Yeah.
you have a great comic coming up. She recorded a Dry Bar special. She's been on Letterman. She's a regular at all the major comedy clubs. Put your hands together for my friend, Karen Rontowski.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
I'm not screaming in your ear. And I like the couple that's laughing. They're very encouraging.
Yay.
Hey, this quarantine is so weird. Like, I was on my bike yesterday and like 85 people passed me, which was weird because it's a stationary bike. And I'm a single lady. I don't want to get married. I'm not against marriage. I think the problem with it is some men live for years. That joke takes a minute sometimes, but we're all there. I am a single lady. I'm not a cougar. I don't know what that's about. The other night I was out on a date with a young guy, and in the middle of the date I had a hot flash and I was too embarrassed to tell him. So I told him I had tuberculosis. And I don't know what that is, so I hope I'm going to be okay. I just dyed my hair today. I'm so glad on Zoom. I hate that I have to look at myself because there's nothing more than terrible than looking at yourself in a camera that highlights all your faults. But I'm so glad I don't have to dress for these shows. The other day, someone told me my style was timeless, as in it looked like I didn't have enough time to get dressed. And sometimes I just dyed my hair. Sometimes I let my hair go gray. You know what happens when you let your hair go gray? You can go behind the counter at Denny's and no one says a word. Everyone goes, I think that's the owner's wife. Leave her alone. And I do a lot of weird things. Like sometimes I work as a psychic. People say, do you work for the cops? And I tell them, no, I work for the criminals. It's a much better job. It's much better pay. But I do all kinds of weird paranormal things. Like I was at a UFO conference and a lady come up to me and she goes, you have alien DNA. And I said, tell me more. And she said, there's a race of aliens. They're called Palladians. They're a peace-loving people with smooth skin and they're beautiful. You're not one of those.
Oh.
She said, you're from Orion. And I was like, that sounds crazy. And then she said, you're a captain in the Orion Interplanetary Army. And I was like, finally, someone is taking me seriously. I called up my sister and I told her, I said, hey, I just found out I'm a captain in the Orion Interplanetary Army. And she said, Orion is a constellation, not a planet. And I said, really? That's all you saw wrong with that statement? I guess they expect that from me now. We taught my parents how to use Zoom, and we put on the virtual background, and all they kept talking about how my sister was at London Bridge. Not one question why I was in outer space. Not even curious. But I'm a spiritual person. I try to meditate, but meditation is very hard. And I think it's because of the music, right? They always have this music that's like water or rain or thunderstorm, very wet music. I think that I would do better meditating if they made sounds that are relaxing to me, right? Like, how about the sound of the police taking my neighbors away? That's relaxing to me. Right? How about the sound of my parents not coming to visit? Very relaxing to me. I think I can meditate with that. But I think that I'm like a spiritual person with anger issues. Like, I just want to bring love and light to the universe. And then someone cuts me off in traffic and it all goes to crap just like that. But I try. In fact, it's funny. One of the things that makes me so angry is when you get caught in that phone tree where it's like, press 1 for this, press 2 for this, it makes me insane. And the other day I called my doctor and he answered the phone. And then I was like, why are you answering the phone? I don't want to go to a doctor that answers his own phone. I want to be caught in the phone tree again, right? The other night, my phone rang in the middle of the night and there were so many numbers across the front of it that I thought I better answer it because this could be from the future. So I answered it and it was a Japanese robocall, but I don't know if it was a Japanese robocall from the future. So I started talking and here's what happened. Either I was talking to Japan in the future or I now own a timeshare in Nagasaki. Was one of those two. So I'm missing flying. I fly all over. I'm the lady that flies with her dog. No one can stand me. I always fly with my dog. But I have a different perspective. I think people should be required to carry a doctor's note to explain why they're flying with children, right? Because you know what my dog has never done? He's never sung the theme to Frozen through the whole entire flight. Right? In fact, I think when you look at society, we're all so stressed out. We should have emotional assist dogs everywhere. Think about it. Would you be mad if your plane was late if you had to feed your ticket to a goat to get on it? No. You'd be like, oh, look, his little lips don't match up. Right? What if you had to go to the DMV? You walked in and the lady was like, take a number. And a meerkat. You can't be mad when you're holding a meerkat. You're getting a divorce? Have a penguin. Still not happy? We'll put a little bow tie on them. But you got to get along. You got to try to get along. I try to get along with my neighbor. Right? My neighbor, very nice. He owns a lot of guns. I don't own any guns. And one day I asked him, I said, how come you have so many guns? And he told me that each and every one of us should have a gun in case we need to overthrow the government. And I was like, if we need to overthrow the government, a lot of you people are going to have to start getting in shape. I don't know if you've been down the cheese aisle at Walmart, but the rebel army has let itself go. I mean, I do a little yoga, but unless we're going to overthrow them with incense and throw pillows, I don't think I can help. They have the military. I don't have enough car insurance to take on a tank. I don't know. That's my neighbor. He owns one of those drone cameras, you know, so he can fly it up and look in my second story window and see me naked. So now I don't have to stand there waving anymore. I'm sorry. I hope that wasn't edgy. But I hope that you all just take this quarantine and, you know, maybe meditate or feel good about things. You got to just stay happy. I remember when I was a little girl, my dad, he would give me advice. He would say, Karen, happiness isn't getting what you want. Go away. That was my dad. He used to try to help out. I remember he would say to me, Karen, always be proud of yourself. Always be proud of yourself because no matter what you do, there's always going to be some jerk standing there cutting you down. That's how your mother is. You know, my parents don't get along at all. I don't know why they're still together. They came out to visit me for a month. Oh, yes, the people that gave me life came to suck it right back out of me. Trying to kill me one visit at a time. They're nuts. My dad told me he put a drawbridge on his house. Just turns out he installed the garage door upside down. I know. They hate each other. I don't know why they're still married. I told my mother she wasn't thinking positive, so she joined a widows club. They're getting older. They think they're funny. They have matching "Do Not Resuscitate" t-shirts with little arrows pointing at each other.
You were unmuted, Bernie. You were unmuted.
Maybe that's why I want to stay single. I don't know. I don't understand the dating. For some reason, men email me naked pictures of themselves. I know. And they're very casual. Hi, I'm Phil, an architect from Cincinnati. And I'm like, hey, thanks for taking the sexy out of tube socks for me, Phil. I'll never get that back. And then other men email me and they say, hey, can you send me naked pictures? And I say, sure, meet Phil. I can't meet it. I shouldn't even be allowed on the internet. I don't know how to use it. The other day I was watching Netflix and that sign came up, the one that says your credit card is about to expire. So now I have to figure out how I'm going to tell my neighbor her credit card is about to expire. And I can't spell, and autocorrect is not helping. Have you ever typed an email and then looked at the screen and the spelling was so bad you thought you might have had a stroke?
Yes.
And Al Qaeda, no. Really, that's not even close. I can't spell. I got a printer. Now your printer comes with its own email address. You can email your printer from anywhere and it will print. Yeah.
What?
I don't need that. I gave it to my parents and didn't tell them. Now I email it randomly to print things like, you should send Karen her inheritance now. Sincerely, God. And my father called me and said, I got a message from God. He said Karen doesn't deserve crap. And teach her how to spell inheritance. And who's Phil? That's my parents. We're a very nervous family. Our family crest is a picture of an irritable bowel. I might have to end on that joke. I don't know why. I know I have one more. Hold on. No, I'm going to end on that. Oh, I know. My dad is so cheap. He worries more about money than death. He left this message on my answering machine. Karen, your mother and I are going on vacation. Now, if we die on vacation, don't fly the bodies home. The airlines are going to try and stick it to you with the price. You cremate the bodies and you mail them home. There's a flat rate priority box. Thank you very much, you guys.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Thank
Karen
you.
Rontowski, everybody. Karen Rontowski. All right. And a shout out to all of you who are watching on YouTube live. Thanks for tuning in. We've had a great time so far. And we've got two more comics, and they're both fantastic. Only the best for you all. Only the best. Your next comedian, he has placed in the finals of every major comedy competition in America, the San Francisco International, Seattle International, the Las Vegas World Series of Comedy, the Boston. He's on Sirius XM. How about a warm welcome for Tyler Bowe?
Thank you. Hey, thanks for setting this up, Jason. It's a pleasure to be here.
yeah, it is a pleasure to be here, literally here, in my home in Portland, where it's safe. In fact, it's against the law to be anywhere else right now. So I got to be content with that. Yeah, hopefully everybody's staying safe, staying healthy. I hope that we get through this quicker, but it may take a couple of months. It looks like. I think if it lasts a long time, I think we should get to take like a mulligan for the year, like in golf. You know, just get a do-over. I say we get to December 31st, you get to that countdown. It's like 3, 2, 1, happy same year. Like, just roll the calendar back. It's like daylight savings, but on a grander scale. Everyone deserves it. You get to do your birthday over. You get to do that anniversary over. Yeah, we get another crack at it. I think it's only fair. So I'm trying to stay positive through all this, trying to be optimistic, look on the bright side. Up until about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I was a full-time touring stand-up comic. But right when everything started to kind of fall apart, I immediately got a job as an elementary educator. Yeah, I'm homeschooling 2 kids now, full-time. Yes, I am. And but it's like they say, sometimes when God closes a door, God also closes the window, because you're not allowed to go outside. So yeah, just stay inside where it's safe. So, but there's benefits to it. I mean, it's a challenge teaching. I got 2 kids at home. My kids are age 7 and 4. My wife got just the 2, 1 boy, 1 girl, as far as we know. And yeah, if we end up with a girl and a boy, that's fine too, because we love them. So, but I think the homeschooling is important. Keeping a schedule and a routine is really good for kids, they say, especially in chaotic times. It helps maintain that sense of normalcy. So I try to keep my schedule like any other day. I get up early. I like to exercise. I start making breakfast. I get the kids up. I read the news. I sneak off in the garage and I cry for a little bit. Just a regular day, you know? So yeah, it is. The kids don't sleep. That is still a challenge. I spend probably 12 hours of every day trying to convince my kids to be asleep for the other 12.
Right.
And it's just a cycle. I got the brilliant idea a little while ago that maybe my kids weren't getting enough exercise, enough physical activity. So I thought I'll take them to the park, run them around real hard. They'll get tired. They'll go to sleep. And that actually worked really well for the first few times, till I realized I'm just building up their cardio. Yeah. So now their endurance is through the roof. They're getting even faster. So that backfired. But I love playing with the kids. I love roughhousing with them. I love wrestling with them. I think like a lot of dads, I love wrestling with my kids. I love wrestling with them because it's like they cannot beat me. It's not even fair. They're tiny and weak. I'm undefeated in the household right now, so that feels pretty good. You got to get a win where you can. So yeah, but I think it can be tough being quarantined with kids, but I think I'm better off. I would hate to be all by myself. I think I'd be going crazy if I was alone. So, but I always wanted to have a family.
Oops.
Started. I was actually raised by a single mother and a single father, just one of each. They're still together 43 years. So I'm pretty proud. That's working out good. Most of my friends have like 2 moms and 2 dads and step parents, and I just got the one of each, and somehow we're making it work. So yeah, I have a great relationship with my folks, and actually because of this quarantine, sheltering in place stuff, I have a newfound respect and understanding for them, because honestly, I'm like, oh, this is what retirement is. Yeah, I get it now. I do. I know why my dad stops by my house like 3 times a week for no reason at all. Doing anything. He's not bringing anything over. He doesn't need to borrow anything. He just shows up. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I just needed to get out of the house. And I get it now. I understand that. Because here's the thing. I'm a comic / homeschool teacher. My wife is a nurse practitioner and she works urgent care. So, you know, God bless her. She's out there fighting the good fight. And I've got a lot of mixed feelings about it because on one hand, I'm very proud of her. I'm also stressed because she's out there, you know, testing people and being exposed, which is interesting because I've spent most of my career as an entertainer working for exposure. And this is not the type of exposure that I wanted to get. So, but yeah, I mean, she's on the front lines. But on the other hand, there is some jealousy there because she gets to leave the house and talk to adults. So yeah, I'm looking for like every little excuse to get out of the house now. I'm like, is the garbage full? I'll take it. Every little thing. I do most of the cooking and the shopping, so that's been kind of fun because you can't always get the products you want, but at least I feel like I'm on a contestant on that show, Top Chef. Anybody with Top Chef? Oh, it's like a cooking competition. I love it. I feel like I'm on the show now. I come home from the store. Miranda's like, "What's for dinner?" I'm like, "I'm not sure. I got 2 cucumbers, a can of lima beans, and a sleeve of saltine crackers. We got to get creative. I'm cooking dinner for 4 here. Let's go. Quick fire." Yeah, it's tough. You got to be flexible. Sometimes you go to the store with that shopping list and you're like, well, I guess we're not having what I thought we were having. We got to just deal with what we got. But I don't know. It's tough. Toilet paper. That was one of the first things to go. Toilet paper. Here's a little piece of advice for you folks. If you go to the store and they do not have toilet paper on their shelves, check their bathrooms. Yeah, they almost always have a couple of rolls right there in the stall. Big ones too. They're hard to get out of that plastic holder, but it's worth it. It'll last you a while. You can use that if you need it. So, but my wife and I had not too long ago, we had our 9-year wedding anniversary. And thank you. The anniversary years have like a corresponding gift theme. So, you know, we try to stay with that. This year was, I think the linen anniversary for us, and my wife wanted us to get on to like sheets and towels and blankets and stuff for gifts. And I didn't know where to shop. She said I should go to Macy's. They have this thing called the Hotel Collection. It's like their high-end line. They got the 5,000 thread count sheets and stuff. And I looked at it. It's nice, but it's expensive. So I told my wife, I said, we could totally do that if you want to. But here's the thing. I was traveling a lot for comedy. I was like, you want hotel sheets? I can get us hotel sheets. Yeah, it might be a little mixy matchy. Might take a few trips, but we can make it happen. So, yeah, it's fun too. People were coming over to visit. They're like, how come the monogram towels say Marriott? I'm like, it's her maiden name. Never mind. Just enjoy the towels. Yeah, take a few if you want. There's more where that came from. So, yeah, we're doing good. We're rolling with it. That was our 9-year. So for the 10-year coming up, we talked about doing a vow renewal, and we took pretty traditional vows, right? For better or worse, richer or poor, sickness and health. I think moving forward, we're going to see a lot of people maybe putting in some wording about 24-hour lockdown, shelter in place, right? I signed up for sickness. I signed up for health, but quarantine, that's a whole nother situation right there. That is a challenge. You start noticing all those little things, those little flaws. Here's the thing. I think men get a bad rap. We get told we don't listen. I think men, there's a lot of great listeners out there that are men. And I think I am one of the best listeners. That's one of my qualities. If anything, I have a hard time turning off the listening because I come from a long line of eavesdroppers. Yeah, my mom, my grandma, nothing would make them happier than to sit on a bench at the mall and just pick up little tidbits of people's conversations. So here's an example. My wife and I went out to breakfast before everything got shut down. These 2 ladies sit down next to us, and we order our food, we're eating, and one lady says to the next lady, "Hey, how's Daniel doing?" And the other lady just goes, And immediately I'm like, huh? Right? I'm still looking at my wife, but I'm all ears over here, right? And she's going on, well, Daniel's over in Spain. He's doing that English teaching program. And he started dating somebody, which I think is good, but he's really struggling with his depression, his anxiety. I don't know. I worry about him. And so we finished our breakfast eventually. My wife's like, you want to get the check and get out of here? And I was like, can we maybe have another cup of coffee, see how this Daniel thing plays out? Right? I'm invested. I care about the guy already. So we had to get going. We had errands to run. This was back when you can be outside your home. And we're driving home in the car. It's dead silent. I'm in my head. Everything's, you know, I'm driving like, I don't think Daniel should be dating right now. I don't. I get he's in a foreign country. He's probably feeling isolated. Maybe it's good that he has some partnership. But if he's really struggling with anxiety and depression, maybe he needs to see a counselor or a therapist. Maybe Daniel needs to do a little work on Daniel, you know, before he starts putting himself out there. So this is rolling around in my head for like 6 hours. Eventually we're sitting at the dinner table. I look up on my wife and I'm like, you think Daniel's going to be okay? She's like, who? I'm like, Daniel from Breakfast in Spain. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you never listen. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate you listening. I should probably get going. I got another gig in about 3 months, hopefully. So thank you for having me. Thank you, Jason. You're the best.
All right, Tyler Bowe, everybody. Tyler Bowe. Fantastic, man. So Tyler is coming to us from Portland. That's what we had a little bit of interference, but it played out all right, man. We were able to understand you the whole time. Okay. So as like a quick commercial, like a little housekeeping, if you could support the show and Marriage Well, they offered this as a free offering and just part of their ministry, but there's a donate button in the chat section in the comments. So if you, whatever it is that you feel like you can afford or contribute, it's warmly welcome. And also I wanted to mention this about my own life. If you want to just stay in touch, I do a Facebook Live where I talk to comedians around the country every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5. So you come to that. Al's there oftentimes, and we just have fun, cheer people up, and kind of peel the curtain back on comedy to let you see what it's like to be on the road. Okay, with that being said, it's my pleasure to bring to the virtual stage your final comedian of the evening. He is on Sirius XM like 12,000 times a day. You can catch him there. He was a professional and continues to be a professional TV warm-up guy for the past 20 years. A warm welcome for my friend, Robert G. Lee.
Hey, can you hear me now or not? Am I on or not?
You're on.
You're on.
Good. Okay. All right. Good. And the picture's very big. I want to go back to gallery view. I like that better because I was watching everybody. They're so much fun. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, because Megan has got the best laugh. I'm assuming you're Megan in the pink over there, right? Are you Megan? You are. I've been watching you. You have a great laugh, and your husband has not moved 1 inch. He just sits there, and he smiles, and he stops, and he smiles, and he goes, hey, he's moving. Megan, the prayers worked. He's alive. I was praying for him the whole time. Amy, you guys are great. You switched with your husband halfway through. You were laughing a lot, and then he went to get some food, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. There's a lot of people. I love the couple. I think it's Aaron and Mary. They came formally dressed. They're behind the table. They wanted to make sure that they're not too close to the comedian. I love that. That's very nice. But my favorite is Casey. You are the most relaxed person I've ever seen in my life. I think, did you have a spinectomy just about a month ago because you were just completely reclining? You have no upper body strength right now. You're just getting lower and lower in the couch as the night goes on. It's just been fun for me to watch all of you. Now I know this is a couples group, but I'm a little worried that Dan, are you okay? Because I know that nobody's there. And now if you want to, in the square next to me, to you is Tanda, and she's also single. So I don't know if this is kind of a thing we should, no, that's no, Tanda, you don't want that? You've got somebody hidden behind the couch, and so Dan's out of the picture. Okay, I'm very sorry, I apologize. Some people have done a really good job of keeping themselves very dark, like the Jan Ricketts. I don't know who you are, but that's, other people just didn't put their pictures up, but you're just dark. I don't know where you are. Yes, and Al, I didn't mean to dismiss you, Al, but thank you very much for showing up here. So the question is, how many saw me at New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
But only if, all right, then most, all right, well, there's so many pictures that aren't here. And Casey was reclining so much, if her hand didn't have the strength to get it up into the whole screen. So I'm not sure. But it's a church group, obviously. And by the way, those of you who are there at New Year's Eve, just know that I learned so much from your event, because I heard about the retreat that you guys had and how number 9 was the couples need to have more sex. And nothing has been more important during this hiatus that we've had, that I just keep telling my wife, number 9. And it's not done me any good, but I just keep bringing that home. I also found out from you guys that it also stops prostate cancer. So that's my go-to line right now. My wife just goes, "What do you want?" I go, "I want to live." And that's my foreplay. But anyway, what I was thinking was, it's the weekend. It's a couples group for a church. Am I right? Is that right, Pam, or is that no?
No.
No, it's not. So there's no church involved. It's just a couples group.
There you
And
go.
not everybody's a couple.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you try and figure out what a group is, and I'm having a hard time pinpointing. Okay, that's fine. I'll do some couple material. I was going to do the entire Bible in 7 minutes, but I won't do that. Bible. Okay. Although I don't know if Megan would like that or not. I'll find out. To go through some things. Now, first, those of you who haven't seen me before, just know, yeah, all of us tonight, we're comedians. This is my job. My 6th grade teacher told me I could never make a living as a smart aleck. And so I go back to Indiana every year. I call her up. I tell her how much I make. I laugh. I hang up. That's what I do. She's in a nursing home. She has no idea who I am. But it just feels good to do it. So that's what I do. Now, this obviously is a couples group that isn't a couples group that goes to church but doesn't go to church. I understand what this group is. I did one event for DARE one time. I think you might have heard of that. It stands for Drugs Are Really Exciting. It's a horrible title. I don't know how they get that. I really don't. But they asked me to pray before the meal. Again, those double messages. They said, we're a government-sponsored organization, so we can't have you use any particular deity's name. So I said, okay. And I start praying. And in the middle of it, I realized I have no idea how to close this prayer. So it's just getting longer and longer. And I finally just say, we pray these things in your name. Hopefully you know who you are. That's part of what I do in a living. Now, I do want to do a lot of material that I didn't do over New Year's Eve for the 5 or 6 of you who are there. And it won't be too religious for those of you who don't go to church, and I might offend. But I know that it's sort of a couples group. And so show of hands, no, that won't work either. Wait a minute. Casey has just brought in somebody else. She's got a child there, and Casey actually there's a man there with Casey. Fantastic. Someone else who has no spine. It's the relaxed people. This has got to be a hospital view. That's all I figured. Now, my wife and I have been married for 38 years, which I know somebody out there has probably beat us. But that is a long time. And I figured there are phases in life, which I find fascinating. And you get together and, you love them, they love you, you get together, but you find that you're totally different people. You really are. You're not the same. And one of the examples I give is the attraction phase. Now, women have got this all over men. Women just know how to do it. They just, what style to wear, how to do their hair, how to slim the derriere, how to look like they don't care, and it's like the spider in a web where they're just going, come to me, come. And men are just walking along like idiots. We're just going, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. And then we hear, come. It's like, you sure are pretty. And then we get sucked into their web. And the thing is, you think that that's going to last forever. Every couple here knows. Okay, it doesn't last forever. It's like when my wife, she looked so hot, and then she walked down the aisle and she turned and got her hair cut and came out looking like Mo. Seriously, it was. And our wedding night, it's like she was under so much flannel, I thought I married a bedspread. I really did. I had no idea. One time she looked saucy for me, and I wrote her a thank you note. It meant that much to me. Which, by the way, I didn't tell you that thank you notes are a huge difference between the sexes. I don't know if anybody has figured that out yet or not, but when you get married, you have to write the thank you notes. And for men, it's like, well, why? I didn't get it back, did I? But women are so emotional with their notes. It's like, you know, it's like, I was like, oh, and they have to write a note to thank the people for writing a note. Whereas men, it's like, dear Bill, thank you for the lovely barbecue spatula set. Up to this point, I was using my flesh to burn the skin. It's not the same. For romance, I know Jason does a lot of cruises. I just sent my wife on a cruise. Evidently, you're supposed to go together. I did not know that. But I figured the discounts were so steep during this time, I couldn't turn it down. But so I think she's okay. I think everything is good. I understand that. How many of you, now we should show a show of hands, but how many have kids at home? Because that's a huge thing right now. All right, Amy's got, Megan's got, all right, so that's why you're doing this. Well, I saw yours, Casey. I saw the one child slid down with no spine over there. And it's so funny that people, you have these children and it's amazing that our kids are in their 30s now. They're grown, they're out of the nest. But when they were first born, it was stunning to me how people would come over and ask to hold your child. I mean, it was like, well, you know, this is the most precious thing in the world to me. I don't know you. Here, you know. Does that happen anywhere else? Like, oh, your wife is lovely. May I hold her? Thank you so much. Give us a kiss. Give us a kiss. You know, like, it's just something about babies. And then they get older. I remember my son, who is now a cop in LA, that he works in the gang unit LA. So this is this macho guy. When he was 9 years old, he had an automatic sucker twirler. And it was battery operated. I don't know how many of you have had kids that have this, but it turned the sucker for you. He walked around for 2 years just going, Their generation was so lazy, they couldn't even lick on their own. That's how bad it was. And then my daughter, it was so fascinating with my daughter as she grew up. There were certain things, and now today it's so interesting to listen to kids talk. If you've got teenagers, you hear they sound like a haunted mansion door closing. It's like, no. That's what they sound like. Well, when I was growing up, it was more of it would just give you a little, and that would make you go, oh, I'm really sorry. But when my daughter was there, it was the roll of the eyes and it was the exhale of breath. They would like, and they would say, I'm so embarrassed. I drove my daughter and her friends to school every single day. I'm making it to heaven on that alone. This is an honest to goodness line that came from the back seat of our car when I was driving my daughter and her friends to middle school, again, every single day. Always the air, always, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. The teacher made me get up in front of the entire class and like read. And she knows I'm growing out my bangs and I don't want to be seen. Could you die? Okay. I didn't change a word of that. That's an actual quote from the backseat of my car. Now, that's like a gauntlet being thrown down because the other girls have to top it. They go, I know what you mean. That happened to me in first grade because I was the only one intelligent enough to read. I could read when I was 2. I could read when I was an embryo. So this is where you want to drive into oncoming traffic. It's like, oh. So I leaned over to my son and I said, don't ever turn into that. And he looked back and went, Now, I'm gonna give you a kid story. This is my favorite story for my daughter. She was 16 and we were fighting cats and dogs, you know. Like, I'd say black, she'd say white, whatever. One day she gave my wife and I a card and a cassette tape. This was the time of cassettes. And in the card was $20. I'm being heckled on Zoom. This was amazing. I don't know who's doing that. So, in the card, it said, look, I know we've had problems. Everything's going to be fine. The cassette tape told us how much she loved us. It was going to be fine. And we said, this is what we live for. We finally we have a breakthrough with our daughter, and we got home after the jazz club she sent us to, and we found out she'd had a party that night. That was the whole reason for the event. But I couldn't get mad because I thought it was so clever how she worked it out. So I've got 2 kids and I've got a wife. Now the wife, again, married 38 years, and she is a marriage and family therapist. Now, so for those of you who know what's going on, it's like comedian, therapist. Okay. It's like, you know, I feel your pain, I laugh at your pain. That's kind of where we are. And I was really kind of worried at the beginning when she was going through all, because she had to do like 5,000 hours to become a therapist. And I was so concerned about what's going to happen when she becomes a real therapist. But what I found was, compared to the people that she deals with on a daily basis, I look fantastic. So every time she comes home, it's like, yeah, I didn't take out the trash, but I don't smoke crack. Who's looking good? Who's looking good? There's so many phases of a relationship. For those of you who are couples, again, Dan, not to upset you at all. You're certainly not. Don't worry about it. Your thumbs up. And Tanda, again, you totally on your own. If you guys are single, be proud. Even the Apostle Paul said, don't get married unless you can't control your urges. That was a very big thing from Paul. So you single people, if you go to church, just hang by the married people and go, I'm doing as the Lord commanded. Thank you very much. One favorite thing I have, and that's, I don't know what you guys are doing during this pandemic, but I noticed that I am binging. Now, how many of you, well, tonight, your couples group, you're on Zoom. That's what you're doing right now. I have been watching all the old movies I can possibly get my hands on. We watched Philadelphia Story the other night, you know, anything with Cary Grant in it, anything with Jimmy Stewart, we're binging that. Then we watch Netflix. And I think most of you probably have heard this, but viewership has gone up from 4 hours a day to 8 hours a day. That's what people are doing. I don't know if you love old movies. I love them, but it's hilarious. Every time I watch them, I notice that everybody went to the same school of acting. I go, oh, I don't know how we'll get out of this. It's a disaster. It really is. Who will save us? What will we do? And that's like a farmer from Oklahoma. They all talk like that. And then Marlon Brando, right in the 60s and the 70s. Remember The Godfather when Marlon Brando started the whole mumbling trend? Remember that? I was like, oh, Michael, I never wanted this for you. And the people in the audience like, what did he say? He said, Michael's a Jew. There's a twist. It's like, you couldn't understand a word he said. But to me, what I love more than anything else are the old classic movie actors. And I just wish, I always imagine today's movies with old Hollywood stars in them. Like I imagine Humphrey Bogart in Dirty Dancing. It's like, nobody puts baby in a corner. I imagine Katharine Hepburn in Star Wars, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, our only hope. I imagine Cary Grant in Jaws. We're going to need a bigger boat. And so those are some of my thoughts. That's what I do when I sit around here. I watch movies and I think of, okay, who would I cast in this movie? So Jason's back, which means I've talked too long. I was going to do, again, I've got it all listed here, the entire Bible in 6 minutes. That's what I was going to do. But no, all that's out right now. Wait a minute. We just had a revelation, folks. Tanda found somebody in the back porch and brought him in. Tanda has success. This was the best night because I've never had someone find someone and have a committed relationship in a matter of 30 seconds. That was amazing. So friend of Tanda, good job. And wait a minute, and I think it's Jackie. You just turned the light on now. Now we can see who you are because you were hidden for quite a while. Well, folks, I hope you had a good night. It's a strange thing doing a Zoom comedy show, I think we got to hear you, Pam. We heard your laugh. Thank you. I'm so glad your vocal was on because the rest of it
Hey, Pam.
is an odd thing.
Yeah, Pam.
But that
Thanks,
is it. I
Robert.
appreciate it. Jason, everybody, thank you for coming. Goodbye.
Nicely done, man. Nicely done.
Robert.
Yeah, so we kind of tried to split the difference because you can't have everybody's volume on because it's too distracting. but you also, the comics want to get a feel. So we just had like a selected number, and I thought it worked really well. So hats off to Al and Tish. And I'd like to bring them on right now to wrap up the show. So how about a warm welcome for Al and Tish Perez?
Uh,
Here we are.
Alan Tish.
Hey, everybody. Hey, we hope you guys had a great time. We weren't sure how this was going to work out. You know, these comedians, these guys are road warriors. These guys are on the road all the time. They're on cruises, and you know, they do a lot of shows for us, but we were willing to give it a try, and we just wanted to bless you guys to have a great time, and we wanted to have a great time. So we had fun. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for all the rest of the guys that came out tonight to do the show. And what's that? And lady, yes, yes, yes. And hey, listen, these guys, when I talked to Jason about doing this, is that he says, you know, I says, hey, what's this going to cost us? Like, we usually have a budget and stuff. And he says, you know what, let's just, you know, do it and have some fun and stuff. And you know what, I want to do something for these guys. There is a link if you can. I mean, we totally understand, you know, it's tough times and stuff and things, you know, some folks are not even working and stuff. So don't even feel obligated. If you can do something in the chat on our YouTube live and also here on Zoom, there's a link that goes to the Marriage Well site to donate. I'm telling you, I'm going to give everything that comes in. I'm giving it to Jason to distribute with these comedians and stuff, just to thank those guys. I mean, think about it. These guys are unemployed right now. You know, there aren't a lot of gigs going on. So, and yeah, Tyler, we need to get him a new razor or something, you know.
Definitely.
But hey, thank you guys again. We're going to continue to do things virtually to continue to support marriages. We've done some game nights. We might do another one of these. We'll see what the feedback is. We're doing workshops online. We're doing marriage coaching. We're working with a lot of folks. There's a lot of folks kind of struggling right now. If you know people that need that, all that you can find all that stuff at marriagewell.org, and everything you need you can find there to get a hold of us. We're here for you guys to help you to do marriage well. Bless you guys. Thank you guys for being a part of tonight. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Alan Tish and everyone. Awesome
Love
job.
you guys.
Nice job, guys. Thank you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Let's go to yes. There we are.